That mysterious ball of rock 239,000 miles from Earth has inspired myths and superstitions for thousands of years. But sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Here, a few facts that will make you look at the night sky a little differently. Before we continue, please turn that like button into blue. It's a motivation for me to create more videos like this in the future. Due to the time and effort I spent on this video. Your likes are greatly appreciated. Most of the 200 tons of trash on the moon is space junk and ephemera crash-landed or left behind by the 12 astronauts who have visited since 1969, abandoned satellites, spent rockets, cameras, backpacks, and golf balls. But here's one of the more morbid moon facts. Among the detritus on the moon are the ashes of Eugene Shoemaker, one of the founders of the field of planetary science, sent skyward by NASA in a polycarbonate capsule. One of the moon facts from the Middle Ages is that scientists and philosophers believed that a full moon caused seizures and influenced episodes of fever and rheumatism. Because of the connection between the moon and unusual behavior, the afflicted were called lunatics, or, literally, moon sick. Each year, the moon's orbit moves about 4 centimeters away from the Earth, meaning that in a mere 500 million years, the moon will be 14,600 miles farther away than it is right now. Watch the full moon from one of the spookiest places in every state. Man hasn't set foot on the moon in more than 4 decades, and yet, fresh prints remain. Is this evidence of an alien life form? Is Bigfoot taking up extraplanetary residence? Nah, they're just leftover astronaut footprints. Because there's no wind or water on the moon, tracks can last millions of years. In a small study from the University of Basel in Switzerland, subjects monitored closest to a full moon experienced less deep sleep, produced less melatonin, and took 5 minutes longer to fall asleep than those monitored during other times of the month. Sleep researcher Marie Dumont, who wasn't involved in the study, suggests that the full moon could indirectly affect the internal body clock by increasing volunteers' exposure to light in the evening. As many people witnessed in late September 2015, the moon really can turn an eerie shade of red under the right conditions. But despite werewolf warnings and apocalypse alerts, scientists define the so-called blood moon as a purely astronomical event when the Earth casts a rust-colored shadow on the moon's surface. Astronauts on the moon immediately noticed that their shadows were much darker there than on Earth. The atmosphere that scatters light to create shadows on Earth is absent on the moon. The Sun and the Earth itself provide a little bit of light, enough for shadows to still appear, but the shadows are much harder to see. Just like the Earth, the moon has a crust that shifts and changes. Moonquakes can occur when the lunar crust warms and expands, or they can be triggered by meteorite impacts. While moonquakes don't reach the same level of intensity as earthquakes, they can last much longer, because the moon has no water to combat seismic vibrations. It's called Lunar Standard Time, but it doesn't correspond simply with the time on Earth. Time is quite different on the moon than on Earth. A year on the moon is divided into 12 days, each about as long as an Earth month. Each day is named after a different astronaut who has walked on the moon. The days are divided into 30 cycles, which are then divided into hours, minutes, and seconds. Oh, and the calendar started the moment Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. Year 1, Day 1, Cycle 1 began at July 21, 1969 at 2:56 and 15 seconds Universal Time. You probably think of Earth as located in the habitable, moderate zone of our solar system. Planets closer to the Sun are far hotter, while the planets farther away experience frigid temperatures. But the moon experiences some pretty intense temperatures, on both ends of the spectrum, considering how close it is to our life-friendly planet. During the day, temperatures can be as high as 200 degrees Fahrenheit. By the moon's poles, though, the temperature stays around -400 degrees Fahrenheit. This disparity is thanks to the moon's lack of an atmosphere.